It's just endless mountains taking up the whole skyline. Wow. Welcome back everyone. You joined me far up north in the Scottish Highlands, and over the next 3 days me and my mate will be backpacking in one of Scotland's most remote areas. Come along for the adventure. It is a cold one this morning and quite a boggy start. I think we're heading sort of in this direction. Actually, I think it's maybe up there. That is the first mountain that we're heading up. Doesn't look like there's too much snow, but there might be some further up. And round here is Loch Glascarnach, I think it's pronounced, which looks really nice. But let's continue along this boggy path. Because this is quite a remote route, much of it will be pathless, which should make the going pretty difficult. But just look at this weather. Oh, I'm so lucky to be able to come out when the skies are blue. Especially in winter in Scotland, it's so rare. Absolutely amazing. Following a little bit of a path right now. Might be able to make it out, just cutting our way through the heather. That looks amazing where we're heading. Well, we're only about half a mile into the walk, and it looks like we've got a river crossing. No bridge, as you would expect, but there's loads of rocks, so hopefully should be able to make our way over. We made it. I think that river crossing is normally much worse if the river's in spate, but there hasn't been too much rain recently, so it wasn't too difficult for us. It's been fairly flat so far, but it's definitely not about to be. That's pretty much the exact direction we're heading, straight up there. Oh, so nice though, the sun just feeding me with energy. Not too difficult so far. It seems like it's quite a gradual incline, and it's pretty cold. It's probably like 2 degrees Celsius, but because the sun's out and we're heading uphill, we're warming up quite nicely. So yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, that is so nice. Nice wee waterfall. That'd be amazing to cool off in a hot summer's day. And you can see where we're heading just up there, and the views just get better and better the higher we climb. We started somewhere down there. It's quite hazy, but it's really nice, and I'd imagine this is going to get a bit steeper further up. I've acquired a weapon to fend off anyone stopping us getting to the top of this Munro. Look at this bad boy. Double spike as well. Look at this setup. Spike in the left hand, heading up the Munro. Oh, that's freezing, right? Let's get rid of that. Satisfying. Let's catch up. Stop messing about. This is pretty much completely pathless now. Quite tough going. It is eerily quiet though up here. Nothing moving. No one about. Right, let's get up higher. These views are going to be something else. Bit more of a path to follow now, and it's quite rocky, so it's not too bad to get grip. We're actually heading up in that direction. Oh, look at these views now. Those might be the mountains we're doing tomorrow. That mountain in the far distance is a pretty famous one called Anchellach. And there's back down to the loch. Absolutely amazing. I mean, what a view. We're up at about 700 metres above sea level now, and we were obviously quite sheltered by that hill over there because it's a lot windier now, but we've only got around 250 metres of ascent up to the summit, so not far to go at all. You can now see the summit all the way in the distance. Looks a little bit further than I thought, and there seems to be a lack of snow up here, which is pretty surprising because it is very cold. That wind chill is brutal. It's not even that windy, it must be like 20 mph gusts, but it just makes it so much colder. Luckily that big yellow thing has stayed out, which is keeping us a bit warmer. Wee chopper. That is loud. So close to the top, you can almost touch it, just up there. Look at these views, absolutely insane in pretty much every direction. Right, let's get up to the top of this mountain. Here we are, the summit of the first Munro of the trip. Fugaguch, I think it's pronounced. Sounds like a made up name, but I swear that's what it is. And the views are incredible. You can see Anchellach in the distance over there, over to the Munros we'll be doing tomorrow. And I think out in this direction is a pretty famous one called Shauna Bray, one of those there. And then in the far distance that is looking into Assynt. What a view. It is bitterly cold up here, so we're not going to hang about, and I think we've got about 2 hours until sunset, so we'll make our way off this mountain and try and find somewhere to camp for tonight. This is definitely my favourite view from up here off in this direction. That looks absolutely insane. I'm not sure what loch that is. It looks really cool though. And then Anchellach, such a cool looking mountain in the distance. I think we're heading off in this direction. Let's do it. A pretty straightforward Munro, this one. It was only about 4 or 5 miles up to the top, and it's I think 950 metres tall, so one of the smaller ones. And yeah, it's not been too bad. The terrain's been fairly easy, even though it's pathless. It's not too bad to navigate. We're just heading back down the same way. You might be able to make out the path just over there, and then we're dropping off down to the right. That is so shiny over there. It must be a loch-in or something. But it's sort of a race against time now, running out of sunlight. So yeah, we'll head down and find a camp spot. Well, it's a good few hours later and it's pitch black outside. The sun set at about 5 o'clock and I think it's about 7 right now. We had a bit of a nightmare with the cooking. Basically the gas canister was freezing up, so the gas was struggling to leave the can and it wasn't really heating up the frying pan, which is a shame, so we couldn't have our sausages, but we had mash and gravy, just had those together and it was still pretty nice. But yeah, it's pitch black outside and there's not really much I can see, so just gonna make my way back to the tent. There's almost a full moon tonight, which looks really cool, and it's lighting up the loch in front of it, but it is freezing cold, so I'm gonna head inside the tent, which is over there, and get some sleep. Good morning everyone. It's about 10 past 8 and the sunset was about 5-10 minutes ago. It got pretty cold last night. I think it was about -5 degrees Celsius. But now that that sun is out, that's definitely going to warm us up. And what a beautiful clear morning it is. We're just following this river this morning, which is partly frozen. Just heading along in that direction. Just look at that though. Wow, what a view to wake up to. We were camping just there, so we got really good shelter from the trees. And then that was our view. Something else. And we're heading along the river for a wee bit and then back towards the mountains. Man, it is icy this morning. The ground is frozen solid. And these are the mountains we're heading towards. Absolutely stunning. Let's do it. Super peaceful here. We're not too far from a place called Inverleil, just back in that direction. And over there is Loch Broom, I think it is. Pretty interesting name. And it seems like we're following forestry tracks for the next few miles. So peaceful. The first mountain we're heading for today is called Shauna Bray, and it's one of the most remote in Scotland. It's decently far, I think it's about 11 or 12 miles for today, but it seems like quite a gradual ascent, and the Munro's only, I think, 950 metres tall again, so not too bad. The visibility is incredible today. As we climb higher, we're just seeing more and more of a pretty famous mountain known as Anchelic. And oh man, it's unreal. What a place. It's getting a little bit steeper now, but still not too bad. So nice over there. And then this is looking back to Anchelic. You can see all the pinnacles. Looks amazing. And we've actually come a decent distance. We started at the end of that track just in the glen there. Yeah, the progress has been pretty fast. We also started at about sea level, so every metre on this mountain is going to have to be earned, but that'll make the views that much more worth it. Doesn't make this climb any easier though. Whew, it's tough. That is slippy. Bad idea, bad idea. Looks like we've got a wee river crossing coming up, and it is pretty much completely frozen solid. You can see some of the water is running underneath the ice. Quite a cool river though. Could be an interesting crossing though. We made it. We seem to be the only people up here, and that baffles me, to be honest. Just look at the weather. Oh, man, what a place. Lucked out with the weather again. Seem to be on an incredible streak. Long may it continue. Little river to cross here. Look at the shapes the ice makes. So cool. Really is impressive. Onwards and upwards. It's opened up quite a bit, so it's quite windy all of a sudden. This is the second hill we're going up today. We sort of go up there, but the first one is in that direction, so we'll have to go out and get that first. Leaving Anchelic behind, and this is looking towards an area called Ascent, which is really impressive. It's just quite flat and then huge mountains. Struggling to speak because of this wind. It is bitterly cold, but we're not too far. There it is, the first summit of the day. Shauna Bray. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. We need to drop down there and then head all the way around. Doesn't look too bad. And the views towards Ascent are absolutely remarkable. Look at that. Incredible. We are approaching the summit, and this has to be one of the best viewpoints in all of Scotland. I think this might be the highest point here. There we go, the top of Shauna Bray. Look at the views. Out over to the sea over there. This is looking north towards Ascent, which looks absolutely insane. And then behind us, these are the hills we're going to be doing for the rest of today and tomorrow. There's just so many. It's hard to make out which one's which. This place is amazing. It gets pretty cold up here when you're standing about, so we're gonna just continue on, not gonna hang about. But what a place. Unbelievable. Some of the best scenery I've ever seen. Absolutely amazing. We need to drop down a good distance to get the bags. Oh, look at this. It's just insane. We're heading off in that direction. You might be able to make out the path just there. So much of this land is so high up, it's so impressive. You can see like a few lock-ins and it's pretty hard to make out which mountain's which. Oh, incredible. Right, let's head back to the bags. Bags are acquired and it's still about 3 hours until sunset. So we're just gonna head for the next Munro and see how it goes. It seems pretty pathless from here on, and I think the mountain is somewhere up in that direction. But it's only about 2 or 3 kilometres, so shouldn't be too bad. Oh, here we are, the summit of Edid Nanclac Gala, I think it's pronounced, which is exactly the same height as the last Munro, I think 927 metres above sea level. Oh, it's nice to have a seat. That was pretty tough going, just the pathless terrain. Ooh, the views up here though are 100% worth it. I mean, look at the views here. It's just endless mountains taking up the whole skyline. Wow. I think that's looking towards like Fisherfield and Torridon, and then you've got Anchelic over to the right, the Fanix off to the left. Wow. That is absolutely insane. The wind has really died down up here, but it won't be long till the sun is down. I think we've got about an hour and a half until sunset, so we'll make our way off the mountain and search for a camp spot. Well, the tents are up and looking good. We managed to find a really good spot, nice and flat and pretty sheltered as well. But there's not too much wind right now, which is ideal. But even though there's not much wind, it's still really cold. It must be quite a bit colder than it was last night. So we're going to have to wrap up warm tonight. Could be quite a rough sleep. It's going to get dark pretty soon. You can see the sun setting over there, and the tents are just down there. That is mine, and that's my mate's. Nice spot, nice views in that direction. Hopefully should get the sunrise. But yeah, just gonna chill out, enjoy this sunset, and I'll see you for some more hiking in the morning. Well, good morning everyone. We have just left the campsite behind, just down there, and we're heading towards the fourth Munro of the trip. It's quite cloudy today, and I think the cloud is meant to roll in, but we've got some views right now, so hopefully by the time we get up to the top we'll still have some views. It's quite steep right now, and we're heading up in that direction, but we camped at like 750 metres above sea level, and you can see the other Munro over there. This one's just a bit higher than that, so not too far. Steep. Actually looks like we're heading for the blue skies, and I think it levels out up there, so excited for that. It's wild up here. Oof, it's calmed down a bit now, but that was absolutely wild up there. It must have been gusting mid-30s, maybe 40 mile per hour winds. Absolutely mental. Feels so nice that it's calmed down now though. get the wind off of your face. There's a nice wee lock in here which is completely frozen over, and the next two Munros are out and backs. Up to the top of that one following a stone wall, and then the other one is somewhere in the distance there. Going to be pretty windy up there, so I think I'll just touch the cairns and then get back down to this lock-in and look at the views from this lock-in. What a cab saw this would be over to Anchelic in the distance. Wow. We have made it to Munro number 6 for the trip, the final Munro, and I don't know if you can see behind me the clouds starting to roll in, so I think we're gonna make our way back to that lock-in, which is where we left the bags. We need to just navigate this boulder field first. Really nice views over there. That must be Loch Glascarnock that we camped at, not last night but the night before, and that was the Munro we did before this one, and I think the lock-in is somewhere over there, so it's not too far. But yeah, need to make our way over this boulder field first. It's actually remarkable how calm it is right now, considering how mental the winds were on the first Munro today. There's hardly a breath of wind up here, which is so surprising. Right behind me is a huge cornice. That's just a straight, like 500 metre drop off the edge of that. So I think I'll be staying away from that. Yeah, you can see that just drops straight off there. That's scary stuff. Right, let's get back to that lock-in. Bit windier in this glen, but you can see we're zigzagging our way down. And look at the views we're descending to. That lock-in is starting to melt. I think it's just because it's a bit lower down. Really nice blue skies in that direction. Right, let's get down this mountain. We are back down in the forest, which is nice. Nice and peaceful. It's quite windy on the higher tops, so it's nice to be out of the wind. So peaceful. The sun's actually made an appearance as well right at the end, which is really nice. And I think we're following this track for I think about 2 miles back to where we started, so not too far at all. But that is another 6 Munros done, which is nice. It takes me up to 178, so it won't be long until I've got less than 100 left, which is exciting. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.